sunshine, and this is the Playground Experience Sandbox Edition live Q&A. I've had my two lovely co-hosts here, April Williams, chewing on I don't know what that is.
Aloha, cucumber. Cucumber.
And then we have Kathy G, my other lovely co-host. Watch it, she might Jedi mind tricks you during the whole show, so just watch it. All righty then. So today was kind of almost like a real true sandbox edition where we just hodgepodging a lot of things. So we're gonna first kick it off with the energies. I didn't hear that, so that's really good what you talk about, Kathy D. What did K Moon state as far as what's going on with this? Because we got the new moon in Libra, correct, happening right now as we speak. Because I think it hit what in 3 and then 7 you all were talking about. So what's going on with the new moon? I know Libra is about partnerships. That's about partnering, rather right. Person, place, or thing, whatever way you're connected to something. That's definitely what the Libra brings to the table. So you can take it away, Kathy D. What did you?
Well, and it's this new moon, which is also in conjunction with Pluto being direct. I believe they said in Capricorn. And so this is a time for the DMs to be learning their lessons, not a unified union lesson, but just as we had to go through our own stuff, they're going through theirs. And unfortunately, kind of at a rapid speed.
No evil cackling in the back.
Yeah, they're really kind of getting just kind of from other things that I've read and heard people say they're kind of getting it 2 and 3 and 4-fold right now. They don't know whether they're coming or going.
And I feel like it's been really fortifying, just thankfully being the DF in the situation. Because every time I start to go into this, it's like Spirit says, you've done enough of that. And so it lightens it for me. And then it starts to show me more relief and more relief. You just get to ask the right questions. That's been the key, is how do you ask yourself the right question so that you can seek the right answer? Because it keeps coming up that whatever you look for, you find. So keeping that momentum, keeping that positive space for you, and even positivity. Aloha, Kiki. Aloha, Bonita. Even keeping that positive momentum. It's not about, just everything's so light and shiny. It's like, no, sometimes positive momentum means this popped up again. I thought I was over this part of my low self-esteem, or this popped up again. I thought I was over this emotional eating or shopping for no reason, or whatever it is. So we're really getting to fine tune, but I feel like I have a lot more grace. I've given myself a lot more grace with and balance with these waves and stuff that are flowing in. Ethereal Sorceress in the house.
Hey, Ethereal Sorceress is 7.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is we're getting this stuff up off the bottom of the coffee pot, as we're getting this stuff all cleaned out, as we're getting to us and who we are, and that really should be where we are at this point. And it's not as much with union, but really being able to come into the understanding of who we are as a person, as a divine feminine, as a intricate member of society. We should understand who we are. And as these things come up, just like April said, I thought I dealt with this, but we have to remember to then also throw in there, but okay, thank you for this one more go around, because now I know it's going to be gone.
Well, I just had a realization while you were talking, like, just this literally makes so much more sense now. Because a coffee pot, typically the coffee pots we get that we got to really clean out, they have shape, right? They got some curves. They get stuff stuck under the side, all that. But that curve is always there. So part of that story of, let's say, childhood abuse or neglect, or, just misguided stuff taught to you, passed down through lineage or society, all these things have shaped our pots, right? So we don't get to not be a different shape. We get to say, this is our shape, and how do we flow within it? So I think that's what I mean when I'm saying that that feminine grace is coming, that goddess style where it's like, that's what you got the curse for, honey. That's what brings them in, is the jiggle. Why are you worried about it? You know what I mean? And so you get comfortable with it, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
change your ultimate drive, your ultimate dharma or purpose, or your mission doesn't change just because your childhood was harsh, or you got to get through certain things.
There was a one, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's a DM, and made a wonderful point today as we were talking, and especially the new moon. The conversations are always fascinating. Um, that he's finding so many people that are outside of this whole journey have trouble taking responsibility for what they do unless they think they're getting something out of it. And I was so surprised when he said, well, they're just, they're displacing their emotions onto everyone else. And I was like, whoa.
Hey, Chef.
So I know. So the DMs are getting it, ladies. It's not that they're not. It's just they're getting it in their own way, in their own time, and some of them are fighting themselves over it. And and gentlemen, if you know how these roles work, but you're defined, you're divine, you're defined. You're defined will be fine. Your divine will be fine, and they're getting it.
I want to put another spin to it because when we're talking about the DM energies, now let's remember that that does not exclude us still.
No, no.
And that means again that still we're talking with the DM as if again that it's more so housing to the masculine, because I can say even with me I've been catching it as well about some belief systems, especially with family, trying to understand to release those things, the connection. I think just really the overall, like they're saying about the connection, is just really about how you connected to family, how you connected to your identity, how you connected to people in your surroundings, how you connected even to your soul family, how you connected into the world. And those are all of the things that really is taking us to, in our DM, which we talked about last time about the alpha and omega, our actions are also pushing forth and also doing. Those are getting question marked about that. And I did talked about that in the video about the feminine and how we're presenting ourselves out and how we're going about and doing things as well. And that would be in our alphaness, that we have to kind of watch that. And so we're also being called as females in the female avatar as well, as far as what we are doing, our actions and how it is being reflected outside of ourselves. So I want to state that too. We're saying about that, but I don't want anybody walking away. Well, that the DM gonna catch it. That's what I thought. The man gonna catch it. No, that means that we're also included in that too as well. We're catching it in our actions. I think I'm pretty much catching it with family and job. Those are the two things that my DM is being questioned. So my thing is I would question to look at yourself and see where are you being challenged in your life right now. And that's pretty much where your DM energy needs to be taken and looked upon, as far as some work needs to be done. Okay. So that's one way I would say to look at it as well. Any on that one? Yeah, get an amen from me, Kathy D. What you?
Oh yeah, most definitely, yeah, because we're catching it, and as well. And I think that it's interesting that even though this moon is supposed to bring in connections and things like that, I'm seeing a lot of my connection being with, my job, and things that are being brought to light, that, that whole, they'd never do that to me. Oh yeah, they will.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, you're seeing that, as I know with me, as I look at my coworkers, I'm like, I just don't have that passion anymore. But then, give me time to sit and talk with somebody that has, trauma, or has had childhood issues, or going through childhood issues. Give me a teenager, give me something like that just needs to talk and to formulate a plan. And I'm all about, I could sit for hours and do that. So I've seen that my focus has shifted.
And she's listening, people. That's the key. She's listening, she's flowing, and doors are opening for her. Things that she didn't see. And she makes no excuses. She's going to push through because she knows that this is.
You're going to tell on me.
Jedi mind trick. She knows, we all know that when we stay the path and we do the work on ourselves, things start to fall into place for you, and you do get the flows and the confirmations and all of these things. And a denial is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's just a reevaluation and a check. And like sometimes we take things so personally, like, oh, I heard no, that means that I don't even think I should even try anymore. It's like, no, you want to keep going towards what that is that you find joy and passion and love and inspires you to keep being the most authentic you. And I think, I don't know, you ladies agreed with me. So confused. If as you step into it, you start to find more passion, you start to find more authenticity of yourself, and you start to bloom. Are you blooming? I think they're blooming over there.
That it. I mean, and because the time's coming, we've planted these seeds, and for some of us, it's been a long time. We've planted these seeds, and we're going to reap what we harvest, and that's the given. Yay! Yeah. My sister made it in. She figured out how to get in the chat. Yay, Tammy!
Aloha.
The party can't begin. Tammy is here. Yay!
Hey, girl, hey.
Get that best bubbly out there. Crack that best bubbly out there. That Dom Perignon. Now she in the house now. So this is really a time, like I said, it's harvest time. I've stated that too as well. We're really, the good, the bad, and the ugly is coming up, in which we have to really start to deal with at this time. And so we will wish that it be more the good than the bad, but all of that stuff that we have done is pretty much had set out there, and all of it's, like you said, is a learning thing. It's a learning curve. It's a learning process for us to really become better. And that's, I think, our attitude, like you said, attitude of gratitude, and our attitude is what's going to get us through it. We back to that, woe is me, and oh my God, why is it always happening to me? I'm trying to do all my work and my meditations, and you hit that kind of the plateau. It doesn't matter what's coming your way. It don't matter if all of the energies or whatever is coming together. If you stay in that kind of vein of thought, that's going to work against you. That energy is going to work against you. So you got to really, again, just stay right there in the midst of the eye of the storm, like they're showing me, and just let all that stuff just kind of like do its thing all around you, and learn how to be able to just kind of go with the flow.
And the nice thing, the nice thing too is when you get into those woe is me, think about it this way. If you knew it was going to take 100 horrible days to get into union, you'd look at every horrible day with a big smile on your face, because that's one last day you got to go through that. And that's the way you got to think about it. You're just one step closer, one step closer, one step closer. Without having a time, you just have to be grateful for what you have, and know that this has an end to it. Everything that we go through on this adventure, there is an end, and it starts a new adventure then. But, as we finish one, we get to start another, and we need to be grateful and full of gratitude for it, and just so excited for what the next day brings. A lot of times I get to school and people say, oh, hey, how are you today? I'm great. Why are you always so happy? I woke up on the right side of the grass. So, I mean, it's just little things like that. I woke up. I woke up. That is a wonderful reason to be grateful.
Yes.
And, we've just have to look at it that way. We have to be that way in it. Just be grateful and motivated, and just so darn happy. We just can't stand it. And then the people that can't stand to be around us because we're that happy. And now I'm not saying we're not going to have, bad days and just be like, I would like to stay in bed, pull the covers over my head. Thank you very much. Come get me in April. But we're also, and we're entitled to
I'm
those.
always
But
here.
always here. Remember to tip your waiters and waitresses. She's here all week. No, but it's all right to have those moments of down too, because that's what makes the moments of great even better, because you have something to gauge it by. So don't beat yourself up when you do go down, but don't stay there. Learn from it and move on.
It's like I wanted to come at this from one perspective, but another perspective came in. So we'll start with the first one. The mechanics of the brain. Right? You have repeated the pattern of the woe is me. Let's say we're using that as the example. It could be any kind of ego flare up, right? Because that's what I think the woe is too, is just an aspect of the ego that likes to associate with the negative part, right?
That's true.
Oh, the woe is me. Well, that part of your brain, whatever it is that triggers that pattern is set up, and it takes a while to reset that patterning, so that when you see, let's say, the dog, right, instead of, oh, my dog was killed or taken away from me, with my parents divorced or something, I don't know, I'm coming up with something. Anyway, so the loss of the pet, it's not the fact that you see a dog and now it triggers that. It's you see the dog and, oh, I had those fond memories of being in love with that dog. It doesn't change your story, but your relationship to it does. Like you as the coffee pot. Yes, you've cleaned it, you've looked at it, you've analyzed it from every direction, but you're not just basically taking a step back and saying, hey, that's part of the design of this coffee pot. That's part of what gives it its uniqueness. It's textures. And that's part of the beauty of life and beauty of this experience. I got to a point where I'm constantly reprogramming and reprogramming my mind and my brain. And it started off sarcastically, but it was like, oh, great. Something else for me to learn about myself. I'm so excited that I found a trigger that makes me want to cry or throw up or punch somebody in the face. I'm so happy that I have it. So now I can take something and do something. If it causes a tension in my body, where's that tension coming from? Oh, I didn't even realize that I start to hunch when I start to think about money, or I don't want to have this conversation. Things. What have I been procrastinating on? These are all questions that we can really be fluffing out right now, because what else do we have to do but clear ourselves and become more of ourselves? You see, when you start looking outwardly and falling into the whole political, oh my gosh, did I just take a breath? I lost my mind for a second. Back to the Libra new moon. Back to balance. Let's not talk about politics. That was a wrong way to go. But like I said, like these triggers, they're all set in to make you confused, disassociate you from your body, disassociate you from your present moment, to step into that next authenticity. Oh yes, you can ask any questions you like, Kelly Bell. Any questions?
Hey, Kelly Bell.
I like that.
Yes, definitely ask questions, please. Or we'll sit here and ramble and might take you down a rabbit hole.
I have a Libra moon, and quite frankly, it's based on my other parts that make me figure out how things need to be balanced. I got that COVID armpit hair. I'm just saying.
Okay. So let me ask a question to jump things off. What if you are dealing with somebody who is refusing, they still want to stay and they woe is me? This is like a person, like I'm in the chat, but I was like, what if you're dealing with a person, you're trying to ascend yourself as a divine, but you're still dealing with a person who still wants to stay and they woe is me? And you keep on telling them, okay, this, but I got to kind of respect my
What's really beautiful? What's really beautiful about that is you get to see, where have I been stuck in the pattern in my reality? Right?
Okay.
What am I not seeing within myself to be able to open up. Now, you can lead a horse to water. You can lead them to their own consciousness of the cycle. But if they're not willing to acknowledge it, you have to just breathe that in as a different dimension, as a different, I said dimension, that was weird, as a different layer of reality. They're in a different vibration of reality. So they can't hear
Right.
the higher, lighter things that you're saying. I'm using that hierarchy just to kind of help. Because
I'm with you. I'm with you.
they're
Mhm.
the allegory of the cave, right? They're in the dark. They're not aware that there is even light to be had, right? They're
Okay.
just wandering around still. And when
Right.
they're ready and they hear the right phrase or terminology, because I used to tutor and do different things like that. Never directly teaching. There's a supplemental instruction. All of these ladies are teachers. That's why I'm just like, well, I guess I'm not really technically a teacher. Like they're a teacher, but the teaching anyway. I did it in several different ways for people to understand. So chemistry tends to be a very intimidating topic, or biology, very intimidating. But I could explain it and break it down to whatever it was that attracted to them in their reality. Because in reality, everything is biology, everything is chemistry, everything is mathematics, right? So, how do you make it not intimidating? You learn the language. They don't know that they are stuck in this victimization or this cycle. And so, they don't know what language you're saying when you say be empowered.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mhm.
you work to a space where did you feel most safe? Where did you feel most capable? And let's go there and say, look, see, you're totally capable. See, you're totally able to do that. And if you can do it that way, you can do it in different aspects of your life to get you right back to possibly awakening them out of themselves. But that's you spending your energy. If they wanted to get there, they could get there. It doesn't always have to be you who gets them there. And sometimes they love to rehearse that because it makes them
Yes.
feel good to feel those emotions, even if they're negative emotions.
Yes, Lord.
And two, we have to set up boundaries, because those people that don't want to, be in a positive mood, they want to stay in doom and gloom, and or always seeing the glasses half empty instead of half full, or just being grateful there's anything in the glass. um you have to set up your boundaries, and you can't let those people suck off your energy, and you have to say, I've enjoyed my time, this is fantastic, but look at the time, I gotta go. And we have to separate ourselves from them. And if they're any kind of friend and any kind of, have any kind of intuition, they're going to notice something's up. And if they don't, well, no great loss. But if they are, and I think where it comes in the worst is sometimes when it's family, and you want to help them, and you see it, and they just can't see it. Why can't they see it? It's right there. And we have to, you just have to step back, and you have to let them wander. You have to put up those boundaries and keep your mouth shut, and you can't, as hard as it is, you can't say anything, and just know that you're there to catch them if they fall. Sometimes they get it and run.
I did
Right.
not keep my mouth shut, and my, someone barely just started talking to me again. So I'm thankful for Christmas because she asked me what my son wanted for Christmas, and I was like, yes. I guess I wasn't too hard because when you come in hard with the hammer because you love them and you want them
Yes.
to hear you, so you say it
Mm.
with the effectiveness that turns out to be so offensively triggering for them.
Because we don't see it, we don't understand all of the lenses that they're looking at everything through. We're attacking, we don't understand, we have everything so together, we this, we that, and they don't see things through our eyes either, to understand that, when you give them this advice, they don't understand that, we're stepping out on a limb sometimes, to or just making statements about things. We're stepping out on a limb, coming out of our own fears, to then be able to say, hey, because if you were a people pleaser, if codependency, you have all these to say to somebody, this is what you need to do. When they say, what should I do? Well, this is what you need to do, to step out and say that, and just kind of throw that out there and see how it's going to be. And then they come back with, oh, you hurt my feelings. Oh, I can't talk to you. They don't understand what kind of pressure that puts on you as well. So it's a double thing that you have to be as prepared for as they do when they ask for the help.
And
Right.
it's okay. Like we talked about boundaries, but we also could add to that just standing for yourself. And that's where we're integrating the balance of that feminine and masculine alpha omega energy. Because not only do we need to say what those boundaries are, even if they're boundaries in consciousness. Like, I don't think that conversation is actually going to bring us anywhere because it's bringing new types of emotions in when that's not what I'm looking to experience. And that's okay to say that. That's okay to put your foot down on that. And if they cannot handle, they have to keep the argument going, or they gotta da. You don't have to subject yourself to that, and it's okay. And sometimes it can feel really awkward, the beginnings of those transitions, but people will begin to realize this is that new vibration that you're holding for yourself or for your family, so on and so forth.
And
turn a blind eye, but
but and it's also, all right to say when you, I guess, like, consider the source. If this is a repeated pattern, that they're going to ask and then get upset when you tell them and then not do anything about it. And it's all right to say, you know what, I think this is one you're just going to have to figure out on your own. I really don't know what to tell you. It's all right to do that and let them figure it out on their own. And then when they come back and ask again, then maybe a little bit of information. But you don't have to dump it all out at once, because some people can't handle that. And it's all right to say nothing, and it's all right to step back and say, not getting into that one. I know how this ends. I've seen this. And so it's all right. Wanda Lee here says tough love works.
I'm going into April. He asked me what is this? Okay. He asked me the other day, what world you in? And he said, like, I was really from Mars. Or you all weren't connecting and speaking the same language? Am I understanding that right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like she had to hold a boundary for herself.
Right.
Like, just saying, especially like, I don't want to have that kind of conversation, especially if there's something to nitpick or just, certain things. I hate to to say it like this, but I don't really see another way. But sometimes things just come out as, super official agendas for you, right? Somebody wants to talk to you about blouses, but that's not where you're at. You're at how to stop, child abuse. What they're saying is not where you're going to be at. Or, they want to talk about politics, but that's not where your head is. You want to start envisioning what you want to do with this new world. Because the old world paradigm politics, it didn't work for us for so long. I don't know why they think this election is going to change all that. We get to restructure and rebuild, and we're not really having that conversation on a large scale. We're having the smaller conversations of, oh, so and so said so and so. Like, it's literally like a tea party, like not the old school, throw it overboard tea party, but the who spilt it. Somebody's better tell me the tea. Can you what's going on with Trump and his face mask? And it's so it's a very interesting world. It's really interesting when you're dealing with someone. I'm kind of reading into what Wanda is talking about.
Okay.
When you're dealing with an individual, as you're evolving, right, and you're going through self-discovery and self-aware, becoming more self-aware, you start to, because we have a tendency to pick at ourselves, right? We overanalyze. We're aiming at perfection. We do that with the other people around us who may or may not be in that same space or that position. And they're used to that old paradigm that they're comfortable in. And as you shift, you might not be able to have the same conversations. But you see, you can't unstick people. You can only unstick yourself. and be an example for them if they choose to unstick themselves. Because she says, I believe he was stuck. I was unstucking him. It's really cute. You can't unstuck someone. So cute. But you can be that example to help them see how to free themselves. You know, a lot of people would like to warn kids, don't do this or do that so that you can have a better life, right? Don't do what I did. Learn from my mistakes. But sometimes they want to learn from a mistake. Sometimes their soul has it written in for them to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
if this is that complication for him, great. And if that is for you to know that you can't do everything for everybody else, just for yourself, that's a huge lesson too. Like what I'm becoming more and more aware of is my son and I are not the same person. We're not the same body. And I love him and he loves me, but I don't have to go to the restroom when he has to go to the restroom. I think differently. I don't want to go to sleep when he wants to go to sleep. You know, these kind of things. But when we love someone that we see and we think it's a simple mind adjustment, it's not necessarily that simple for others.
Right.
As easy as it was for us. Just like have a physical disability. These two women, it would be easier for them to lift up a bag up high on a shelf versus, I mean, I know that they're vertically challenged. We have some, we have some.
No, you.
We are not vertically challenged. We are fun sized to get it right.
There you
That's
go.
true. I'm sorry.
And I am still tall enough to ride all rides at Disney World. Thank you.
Even with my
Barely.
little hand, though, y'all could still put the thing up with the box. You know, I'm like picking up with one hand and trying to lift it with a boob, trying to get it up with everything and that, and I nudge it like a puppy onto the top shelf of the closet. You know, but just knowing the strengths and the weakness. Strengths and weakness.
That that one. Are there any I seen Kelly Bell, you had put up there about your DM, about you had an answer about that. So really those things are like, if you want more in depth, again, any message from DM, and with those things, we don't really handle that right now doing the sandbox thing. So if you want really some more intake, you know, you can always contact myself or either April as well, because she could tap in too. But you can always look into that if you want in more in depth. Because right now our focus is more so of trying to make sure we're helping you all through these energies as this moment with that. But missing him again, one thing I will say for you that I am picking up instinctively is that you've got to stop the longing, because the more the longing that you're doing, the more you're repelling Kim from that. And that's one thing that I am picking up on that too, because I feel that you're lost. You got to get a sense, you got to remember again that you are in the leadership. You are the ones who's the awakened one. So you've got to anchor, they're showing me an anchor. You've got to anchor down into yourself so that you could cause your God to be more than saying stable at the same time. So that's the advice what I'm bringing to you, and that's what's being brought to me is an anchor. So think about an anchor it like at sea, lost at sea. And this is what they're bringing to me as well for you, is that you got to anchor yourself in so you can anchor him as well, because otherwise you're just getting tossed about. They're showing me waves. Okay. So that's really, I'm going beyond my thing. I usually don't do that, but I will say that for you. But we don't really handle those kind of questions. Okay, all right then.
I do want to put this out there though, for the people on the Wix app, because I didn't put this on the Wix app when it was happening, because I had been thinking about everybody in this, just praying and meditating about, wondering about people from the Sunshine Circle. And the song, I'm not a big fan of Brandy. It's just, she's not my personal favorite singer. So the song that came was I Want to Be Down.
Yeah.
And it was in my head for a half an hour. And I was like, this is somebody's DM sending this song. And I am offended, not offended, but just like, come on. I don't even like Randy. Not that I have an issue with her personally or anything. I don't know her, you know. But I was like, I want to be down for a whole half an hour. Come on, come
Yeah, they're
on.
sending it to you. They will keep sending it to you. I won't
Till
do
you
that.
acknowledge it, they'll send it.
When you have a disconnect with your DM, I think the major issue is why we're so codependent on that energetic relationship. And so it takes time to spirit is now like, okay, level up, learn a new lesson, and focus on yourself and what it is within you. And then when you are ready and your spirit is ready, you will reconnect. And it's sometimes it's very simple and sometimes it's very convoluted.
Yeah, and Wanda, I feel your pain. 20 years total, 7 as of recent. Um, let's see, 15, 25, 35, 45. That's 30 years and 2 as of the end of this month. So a total of 32 years with a brief 9 months in between. So I feel your pain, and it's there, but you just have to, let it go and keep moving forward, not wait for them. You can hold space for them, but not wait for them. My life is going to continue. If I wind up being the crazy cat lady, I'm going to be the crazy cat lady, but my life moved forward. I didn't stop. I didn't stop living, and I didn't try to unstick him. He's where he is for a reason, and until he learns, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
She's moving with herself. She's not.
Mm-hmm.
she's focused on herself, and she's asserting appropriate boundaries, both physical, energetic, spiritual, all those things that are necessary for her to be her. And that's what we got to focus on ourselves. We do inner union. I'm going to plug the playground experience. Which are we still discounting it? Still, are we doing that?
Is that regular price now?
Sorry, folks.
It's been there for a while.
Y'all had a window. It's closed.
No, it's been there for a while. It's at the regular when we said it. I said again, learning boundaries, clank clank. No, it's at the other price. So if you're interested in doing that, check us out. Because again, all of us are the energy exchange, and all of us are really pouring in a lot. We pour in a lot, and sometimes when you even come to our playground, we give you extra on top of that. So we have to make sure that we have a valid. I feel like I'm like the guard, but it's like we put a lot of pour into you all, and so in order for that to happen, we have to have that kind of coming back again, that infinity sign. So check it out and see what the prices is on as far as the playground. And then we got also the past life regression. We look and see about what's happening with your past lives. I check in with the cards. At D does a hypnotherapy thing. And then April, she does intuitively. She can type it to you. I do it with the cards too, and intuitively. But but April can kind of just look through your body and scan and see, well, okay, ooh, this is that, or it just comes up and she shows that. So I think that's a real good thing, because this is a time for healing too as well. And sometimes you see that. That's funny. She's talking about dimensions, and what I was talking about, this person in my head, I was thinking I was acting really like I had shifted out to the chat and came back in. I'm the host now, okay. But really, they're going through some dimensional things, and so it's like they're dealing with things in the dimensional past, and they bring it fast forward, and I'm like, whoa! I feel like Back to the Future. I didn't sign up to get up in this car with you in this DeLorean with you and Michael J. Fox and the mad scientist. I didn't sign up for this. This is really your ride. I'm just sitting on the sidelines, just making sure you come back after your trip. But you keep on trying to throw me in the back seat. There ain't no room back there, and there's DeLorean here. I'm all crunched up. So my thing is that that's why I was bringing that up again. Some past life things are coming up too, because that's all the coffee pot. All that stuff has got to get all dimensions, all different things, timelines too. So if you're interested in doing that, as well. That's something that you might want to check in. Like some things you might be unknown. Like, why is it? I think I've done everything in this timeline press, and you'd be surprised. Some of that stuff is past life issues or other dimensions or other timelines or things like that that you need to also address, because you're like, I can't put my finger on it. I can't put my finger on it. And so that's why you always need somebody outside of yourself to be able to look at it and say, oh, okay, I can see it is this, and this as well. So I really do recommend that. A lot of times we think that we can do it or go ourselves, and maybe you might find out why, another reason why the person is not calling you. It might not, have to be with that per se. It might be something more deeper that's sending out that signal within yourself, that's that frequency that they're picking up on as well. I wanted to address, and I'm trying to see, it came to me and then it fell away. Come back into the present. I'm back in my body. Um, Keep on talking. It might come to me. It was something important. It's there.
Well, Wanda Lee made the comment, I ain't got no more time.
Oh, that's it. Thank you. I remember it. Hold on. You know how my brain goes. That's it. Watch your perspective as far as what you're talking about, because you're acting as if you're doing the waiting game. And I talked about that. And Spirit brought that to me too as a message for you all, to say that again, our perspective of how we're looking at things is also blocking us as well. It's like, I've been waiting. I've heard a lot of readers even say that too, and might be a little kind of triggery too. But again, we keep on looking at the time and the span of how long it is. When we talk about in spirit, there is no time. There is no time as far as when you are truly ready. So right now, if they're not showing up, you don't want that person, honestly, truly, to show up the way they are. They show me like a cake. They always do. Well, you look at it outside, it looks nice and golden and brown, and you're like, oh, it's ready. And you open up the oven, and what happens? That sucker gets to jiggling in the middle. You said, well, I thought you was ready. Okay, you're not ready. Shoot, put you right back into the oven and let you finish your process. You look like you was finished because you're a nice golden brown, but evidently that you're not. So you have to look at that point that when they are ready, when they're ready, when you're ready, or if you feel that you're ready, I won't discount that either. You feel you're ready, but guess what? They're not honestly ready, then they're not going to show up. Just like they say, Field of Dreams. When you're ready, they'll show up like Field of Dreams. So again, when the teacher, again, Socrates says, when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. They're not ready. Okay. And that's the way you look at it, as far as, okay, you feel some way in your spirit and your soul that is some more things that you have to learn, that you have to gain, to gather in order for you to truly feel like you're ready for me. Because a lot of times these DMs do feel they're inadequate. So you don't want anybody to come breeding that inadequacy, or they're not ready for you, and they're going to keep on questioning themselves even when they're in the relationship with you. You want them when they really feel like, hey, I can do this, even when I have moments and times, the DM in the male body, when I have moments and times that I don't feel like it, hey, I can talk to myself compassionately. I don't need to go back with my mother talk to me nasty. I got to go back and relive that again, and then fast forward and use that as a tool to apply to where I am now in the present with you. They'll know, hey, when mom talked to me that way, I leave all that childhood wounds away. I'm whole. I don't need to go use those old tools anymore, those old paradigms anymore. And I could just deal with the newness that I've learned from being in that karmic situation or the third party situation. And I could come and apply that to you as new. And so that's why you don't want them, because you don't want them, they showing me like a toolbox. You don't want them to go back and get them old tools, that rusty old screwdriver, that rusty old hammer. You want them to come using new tools and applying it to the relationship with you. And that is why you look at it and say, hey, you're not ready. Like Kathy D has gotten to the point where she say, hey, you're not ready. You're still working out something kinks like that. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and do me. Okay. And so that's the way how you look at it. It's not with an ego, like, I'm going to do me, baby. You boo, you ain't ready. Oh, okay. I can show you what readiness look like. I'm about to go get this degree. I'm about to go get my firm. No, it's not about that. It's about, again, understanding that you're not ready. I can see that. I had accepted that. David gave me that too. Again, a lot of us got to deal with forgiveness and acceptance. I forgive. you that you're not ready, and I accept that's where you are. And so in the meantime, that's what Kathy D is. I'm just using an example because she put her stuff out there. So now we can use that as a teacher, as an example. So my thing is yeah, we could use that and say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do me, go ahead and do what I have to do, apply the newness to the tools that I have for my toolbox, and then let you go and find a way for you to create the new tool so you don't bring that rusty nail or that rusty screwdriver or hammer over here to this. It's all about perspective, and that's what we've got to change and cultivate.
There's a couple things I wanted to add to that because it's a really good point that if you are feeling any kind of a way where there is a lack because they're not ready is still a lack mentality kind of situation, and it makes you it's also provides hierarchy, right? When you say they're not ready, you're assuming you are, when in reality it is a twin experience. There is a reflection, and it may not be in the area in which you are working in, like your spirituality. Since we're spearheading spirituality, yeah, we're going to be at the forefront, especially if you're the carrier of a womb or two X chromosomes, right? We are the creatrix by nature. So, in that sense, we're always connected with the divine. It takes a little bit more for masculine energy, because of how society has raised us to tap into the force. So, if we go back into the alpha and omega sense of it, you're not in a space where your alpha and omega can approach their alpha and omega. It's almost as if you have your magnets. That's beautiful, Tara. Tara Connolly put something up here. It says, I forgive myself for not being ready.
Yeah.
I think that is a really great way to take it, because what you're putting on them, you're actually putting on yourself. You're pressuring another being outside of yourself to accept parts of them that you think aren't okay. See, there are twins that get together and they aren't in the perfect state, right? But they have the space and allow each other to have the things that they're working on, and they support each other to work on them, and they work forward. So let's say you're pushing for another person to become or be a certain way when they're not supposed to be working on that. Their soul contract, their setup is saying maybe it's something else that they're supposed to be focusing on. And then at another time, through another set of experiences, that's how they learn their evolution. So by you saying that I dictate to you how you're supposed to be, you're saying, I know better than spirit and the universe and how it's put together. You're not ready. Spirit doesn't agree with that. Spirit says they're exactly where I need them to be, doing exactly what I need them to be doing. They may not be making choices that you want them to be making, but that's where they're at. So if we can then, again, stop and turn that around and say, I'm thankful that I'm able to connect with this person in this space. I don't necessarily agree with what's going on. I'm going to then focus on myself so that I don't carry a set of emotions for someone. Because I think the issue is with the twin flame experience, if you're not with your counterpart or not fully in the vibration that you want to be, you start nitpicking and blaming, or self or others. There's always some kind of discord. You're just looking for it's like a little drama fest, right? Who takes the time to just sit and breathe and listen? And that's what we do together. We sit and breathe and listen and throw sand in each other's hair. Here on the sandbox. Say, ooh, did you know you have sand in your ear? Because you ain't hear me, girl. When I said to you last week, you better look inside. Handle that. You're impatient. Looks like you're judgmental. Looks like you're doing this for yourself, and it comes out in subtle ways, controlling me.
Well, and that's like the affirmation from last week. I'm so grateful that you can handle everything the universe has given you. And that's in a way when we're in this twin, adventure, we're also saying that, you know what, we're grateful that we can handle everything the universe has given us. And as we handle ours, they'll handle theirs. And, you've got to get to a point where, it is what it is. And you know what you know what you know, as Benita always tells me, you know what you know what you know. And you just don't sweat it. You can't. You can't stop living. The day will come. It's going to be all right. It's going to work out. They're going to get their shit together. Okay? That's just that. And,
Amen.
and they are. And you know what? Why? Look at it this way. I look at it as this gives me an opportunity to work on my career and to spend time with my kids and maybe get, my finances straight and become more abundant. And then, when they make it, they make it. And then, life is, good with them or good without them. But either way, life is good.
You bring up a very valid point there too, and I've heard from several readers say the same thing, and I think Kate Moon had mentioned that too. A lot of them saying what's holding up, and I don't know if you agree with that. What's holding us up is our finances. That we got to get together, especially the divine feminine energies, of getting the finances together. And that's one of the things that may be also a hold up, because I guess in some ways finances is viewed as another, like the stormy stairs, like another step up or empowerment. You feel empowered by that, like you'll be able to stand, which causes you get your finances together, which causes them to get their finances together. So that's another thing that they were saying
I
as
would just
well.
say that I think it goes. I think it's not this. I think it's not equal for all twin relationships like that. I think it's like let's say it's your finances, but his heart, right?
Right, that's what.
So,
Right.
so there's a balancing, right? If someone isn't using their third eye chakra, does that mean that you're not using your base root chakra, or you're denying your sacral chakra? So if they're truly your divine counterpart, you really want to start looking at and analyzing yourself and where you are without. Because if they're modeling something that you have or are holding in a different way, but a similar pattern. And that's what I've definitely noticed.
Yes.
Because I found that there is a little bit, they call it, I've heard the term spiritually bypassing, right? So it's easy for certain people to work on their heart chakra or to go into their childhood pain and so on and so forth. And so they'll go and do that over and over again, saying, I'm doing the work. I've gone in to get all of this pain. And it's like, well, that's not where you're going, honey. You're living in a cardboard box right now. You know what I mean? So how can we get you into safety and security? So it's not about your childhood wounds. Your childhood wounds, you're using all of that to distract you from being in the present moment and actually taking responsibility for yourself, for your child, right? You're not even being that parent that you need. You're not using that alpha energy to set your boundaries, to know that this is your standard of living, right? Because if you're supposed to get with this person and have that third energy, how can you do that successfully and sustainably if you are completely imbalanced in different areas? If you have extremely low self-esteem, the other person's not going to come in there and suddenly you're going to feel better about yourself. No, you have to train and design your mentality and your physical well-being practices and all this stuff for yourself. They're not going to maintain that for you. They're not your parent, right?
No. And that's the main thing. We're not their parent and they're not ours. The whole idea of we need to rewrite our knight in shining armor story. They can still be your knight in shining armor. Yes, we know they feel like home, that you're safe with them. Okay, and that's great. That's fantastic. But you've got to get into your mind that your knight in shining armor isn't going to ride in on this beautiful white steed and scoop you up and put you on the horse. No, he's going to ride up with either to you and your horse or bringing a horse for you. because you're going to ride off on your own, because in the end of this story, happily ever after is you are your own hero. They accentuate your heroism. They are not going to save your story. You save your story. They're just an added bonus.
And it's not saying that you have to be perfect.
No, you don't.
It's saying that you understand where your weaknesses are and you're working on them actively.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you're not waiting for someone else to come in and fix them.
Right, that's true, and that's why I said about the rusty toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
Showing me about that. You know, you want that perfectly together, and I think that's a lot of times that's what we think about. Well, I've heard clients say that, and I've seen that even in comments on readings that I've done. You know, where once they come in, it's all going to get better. Okay, or once she comes in, it's all going to come better. And it's not going to be that way. I could even say with the dynamic of with the relationship with me and the DM that, you know, there's times I have felt very low, and he's still nowhere around. I've got to find myself to pick my own self up. And then sometimes that is like I'm low and he'll come right on in at the same time and make a phone call, or he might even stop by or whatever. And I was like, whoo, I need that. It's just like a pick me up. But then still at the end of the day, who still got to finish the work? Me. So, and my thing is that, you know, we can't look at our partner, our counterpart, as the person who's going to save the day or be like another crutch, because they're just not going to do that for you. I'm sorry. I know that from my experience. I'm the one that's in communication with mine. And so that's not what they kind of here for. And that's not kind of, it's not what they're here for. And vice versa. I don't want him to throw that kind of energy on me either, because I will throw it back to him and say, okay, you got to kind of handle that. I can handle you so much with the job or whatever it is that you need help with, but at the same time, you've got to deal with that. But then you have to also check yourself too, as well, just making sure that that's not coming from a place of ego, as well. It becomes tricky with that. But we have to really truly understand, and that is what when I hear people, you know, where is he? And that's not everybody. I'm not talking to the people that's watching us. Talk to those other twin flames that are not watching us. But it gets to the point that they are like, so and it's like, no, you got to get yourself whole before that person. They're just really just like a puzzle piece. They come in to enhance, as you say. It's not to come to complete you. And that's where we really truly have to come to that stage of understanding that that's their job. But a couple, you know, sometimes it's a little kind of hard for us to kind of digest and to take in. And but at the same time, that is what it is. And that's where it goes about that society and the fairy tale that he's sweeping up and a knight in shining armor and Prince Charming and all that stuff. And Spirit has also told us again, we've got to change that old ideology, that old paradigm about those things of saying somebody else. No, you save yourself. You are your superhero, your own. Spirit also
saving yourself. Sorry.
Right, save yourself. And then last thing, they keep telling me the word compassion. They say some of you all they're picking up as well too is that you're not showing compassion to yourself. You can show compassion like if something's hurting April or Kathy D. I'm very gentle with them. But when it comes to myself, I'm hard on myself. I'm not forgiving of myself on those things because it's somebody else. I got to still, again, talking about saving myself. I got to learn how to be able to be compassionate and be my own girlfriend too, to say, hey girl, it's all right. You know, hey, don't be so hard on yourself. It's going to come together. You know, those things. And they keep telling me to tell you all, you've got to be compassionate. Some of you all are not compassionate with where you are in this process of you learning or on this twin flame journey or adventure.
Yeah, and Tara Conley has a good question. She said, would that thinking all will be better considered part of soul shock? You know, I don't know. Everybody's is different. Everybody's happens differently. It could also be part of, you know, Dark Night of the Soul. It's hard to say what part that is.
If I'm reading it right, I'll take a stab at it. like tag me in. If I'm reading it right, yes, it is part of the soul shock because some of them that is your identity of who you are. because you truly believe that by having this person that you've been learned, maybe societal or even family or even yourself through learnings of lessons of partnerships and being with other people, that might also make you feel that that's, they keep on saying, it's part of your identity of who you are, who you feel comfortable. That's your sense of your comfort zone. And for it to jerk you out of that, like it all be ever, yeah, it's going to be a shock to your soul. So that is a possibility, yes, that can be, because they keep on telling me two things: it's your comfort zone and it's your identity, that how you're identifying to that idea or that ideology that needs to be shaken up, and for it to shock you to let go of that idea. So yes, I would say yes, that is that can be.
And that doesn't always happen with just twin flames. It can also happen if you have codependency and with children. Yeah. As they grow up and get older and they leave, and that's why empty nest syndrome got its name. So yeah, that's a soul shock. I like what Kiki says too: compliment you, not to complete you. Hey. Exactly. Look at you, girl.
Yes, April, what was you gonna say?
That's such a lovely picture, Kiki. I was just like,
it is.
I forgot what I was going to say. She looked fine today. Freaky Friday.
Mesmerize you with that
beauty. Let's see. Soul shock. I think there's a difference between thinking and knowing. I think that your soul doesn't get shocked. Your body gets shocked trying to integrate your soul. And because your soul is consistent throughout. So in terms of like thinking all will be better, that's like a coping mechanism to the trauma or the shifting that's happening, right? The alchemy that's going on. Now, once you integrate that your soul knows it's all better, right? When you come into the now and you actually breathe into the space of safety and connection and whole, then you actually have the ability to know that all is better and still flow through whatever tossing and turning aspect of the adventure that you're going that you're a part of at that time. So, some people, what do you believe in? What do you know to be true? Right? When you are alone and you're going through a process of purging or crying or release, or you're just beating yourself up over the day, I think that's where we're going to reintegrate what she's saying, the compassion for yourself, or like what I was saying earlier, I feel like there's a sense of grace that's coming with me. Like I'm going deep into the body. I'm taking courses and putting together everything that I've learned and how to help other people understand how to go into the body. See, a lot of us want to go into the mind, or we want to go past, or we want to jump into the future, but we don't want to be right now and deal with all the stuff. And the thing is, there's some hurt right now. There's some out processing of pain right now, and it can be their pain. Also, there's something about setting boundaries and holding ourselves in the space of it's okay to set boundaries, and that's also the compassion part, right? Because if you're willing to take anything from anyone, especially your loved one, and then they're not even considering your emotions, you're no longer being compassionate to yourself, you're being cruel to yourself, right? So we are coming into, as this Libra new moon, a time of new balance. But in order to balance, you need to know what's off balance, and becoming self-aware can sometimes be painful, right? But your soul knows when it comes in and brings that sense of calm and says, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. You know it's okay. Then you can explore the pain from, I know it's okay. So what gets me to the other side of this pain? What gets me through? What allows me to get this pain through me so it can change into something else? And so that kind of leads me to, we're going to do a similar meditation that we've done in the past. Just a brief little eye closed one. This will be nice for new moon. New moon, everybody, eggs up, heads down, eggs up. No, I'm just kidding. Remember that? Heads up, 7 up. Okay. Anyway.
Yes, I remember that.
Take a deep breath. Feel your body. Move around. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. Kind of rock side to side. Let your spine tell you it's awake. Let your lungs expand and your heart beat. Feel your heat or your cool. Just allow your body to be. Go ahead and set up this bubble around you, this egg of protection that goes from silver to gold, rose gold, to violet, to white. We're in a safe protection space, this container where we're going to allow ourselves to just allow learning our circuitry. So go ahead and look, even with your eyes closed, look up and in towards your third eye. Take a deep breath. This is actually moving blood and energy to this area to allow it to expand. Okay, I want you to go ahead and start to allow the air around you to become thick like water, thick like milk, thick like cream. This is the feeling of the subtle body. This is the feeling of energetic space. This container that you've set for yourself is a space for healing. So I want you to go ahead and tap your heels if you have your heels on the ground. Or if not, just imagine your feet chakra opening up right out of the center of your feet. And you can feel the energy starting to shoot out and down. I want you to now go ahead and feel the earth want to give you nurturing. So magma deep from the earth comes into your feet, to your ankles, to your knees, to your hips, to your root. Go ahead and squeeze that lower area. Allow that energy to kind of keep flowing up. And now it flows up from the root to the sacral, solar plexus. Go ahead and squeeze those areas. And it goes up to your heart. Start squeezing your throat. Actually your high heart and then your throat. Just squeeze. Let it curl you in a little bit. You're going to curl your arms through your throat, through your third eye. Look up to your third eye and your crown. Go ahead, all that light. And that crown is going all the way up. That light is going all the way up to the heavens, deep, deep in space. Keep curling, tightening up. Curl your toes. And this energy is from the earth up to the ankles, knees, hips. Keep curling. Oof. Root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, high heart, throat, third eye, crown, and release open. And that energy shoots back down from the universe to your crown. Third eye. Keep looking at the third eye. Throat, high heart, which is right above your heart area. Heart, solar plexus, sacral, root. Let your belly open. Down through your hips, your knees, out through your feet. And let it cycle around like a big donut. So as the energy comes in through the universe, down through your crown to your solar plexus, down throughout your body to your feet, and it circles back around on the outside through the high universe, in through your crown, third eye, throat, heart, sacral. Go ahead and squeeze that. I feel some people wanting to deny the aspects of their sexuality, and we'll get in that in a second. Down to the root, to the knees, to the feet. Everybody take their hands, go ahead and clap. And I want you to, now that the clapping helps open up your hand chakras, so we're just going to go ahead, and this thick air, I want you to pick it up. And imagine it's gold liquid. And splash it over your head, just pour it over you. Wash yourself with this. Like, so you're just picking up this gold light, washing your whole body, allowing it to clear. So as the gold starts to drip through your body, through your skin, into your muscles, into your chakras, into your bones. Allow this gold light to just keep penetrating deeper, clearing. I hear for whoever this resonates with, go ahead and put your hands over whatever part of your body that is having some pain right now. It's having some blockages. I'm feeling some heavy heartedness that doesn't want to let go of the pain. There are some DMs that are suffering, dealing with childhood trauma, repeated patterning. There's some child abuse stuff there. Like whoever is working with that, with their DM, go ahead and just go over Divine Sunshine's abandoned childhood playlist. She's got a lot of great material. Jupiter 1111 has some too. Okay, we got some solar plexus issues where people aren't pushing forward because of a limiting belief system, kind of being too hard on themselves, aiming at perfection, so they're not moving. I see some intestinal. Oof. Some people that know they're not eating right that need to kind of clean up their diet. Their guts are like just kind of going crazy. As soon as your gut is kind of cleared, you will have more clarity of mind. You'll have more clarity, connection with your spirit, and you won't get so muddled because it seems like you're getting some interference and stuff with what you're trying to do. So you're getting purposely blocked, and partially has to do with your diet or eating things you know you're not supposed to be eating. The sacral, there's a few people, there's some oversexed people that are using it to numb out. There's some people that are disconnecting from their sexuality because of abuse and trauma, and there's other who are disconnecting from their sexuality because they're afraid to be seen or want that sexual desire based on childhood traumas, or just kind of ridicule or embarrassment, or just kind of affiliating too much with the superficial beauty molds. We're gonna have to let that go. That's gonna take some work with the mind and self-esteem work. There's plenty of stuff out there that will help with all of these beautiful issues that are coming up. And for the root, a lot of people just, with everything going on, nobody's knowing the shift, but taking the reins and looking at what's going on financially, good or bad, just knowing what's going on in your life is going to help key and open up things for you to help things fall into better alignment for you. I'm feeling the people carrying some past life issues. You can see us or kind of journal that kind of stuff out. You feel like you don't know why you're carrying this weight or this energy, or this particular pattern kind of keeps happening. And there's some people that just aren't having that faith and trust in the universe, because my knees are starting to have this kind of like achiness. They're not letting God do their work. You're getting all the signs to be told to do what you need to do. You're just being stubborn. So let that go. Okay, so for whomever that resonated with, or whoever that sounded with, I was getting a lot of information, like a huge amount of information. This is a great time for you to come back into balance with yourself. So let's everybody take a deep breath. Allow that energy to flow down through them if they were carrying that pain or that weight. Allow it to exit through the feet into the earth and shoot out like a big donut, come back down. The universe into the crown, third eye. Down to the center, out through the legs. Then come bring your hands to Anjali, your heart. And there's a lot of love out there. And it starts with the love of self. So welcome back. Let's all come back into body. Let's all, yeah. Let's see what's happening. I'm probably gonna need to eat. I was like, okay. Anyway, and if you happen to hear all of that, and all of that was for you, please comment. Please like and subscribe, because you definitely need to be here. I'm just kidding.
Dang, y'all say. We will give you a discounted rate.
But I already subscribed.
Yes, we want to get you right and get you tight. All right, as we wrap up, is there any other things that last comments, anything that came to you as we wrap up this experience of the playground experience?
Yeah, the one thing, um, going back to Tara's comment that it'll all be better. Understand that there's different levels to that. Yeah, after a bad day or something happens, there's not one of us here that wouldn't deny the fact that a hug from the DM would make it better. There's something about that, but that's not what we're talking about. So don't beat yourself up for wanting that kind of, gonna make it better. It's gonna make life in general better. But at that moment, yeah, and trust me, they show up at the front door, they're getting, it's gonna be a hug, and don't really care who has a problem with it. So but don't think that any emotion that you have like that, just to hear their voice, just to see them, just to, get a hug or a touch or anything like that from them, that's not what we're talking about when we say it's going to make it better. It's like going to make all your problems in life go away. So keep those in mind. There's levels to that.
We are a highly medicated, like indoctrinated society. So we all think like a pill is going to make things better. People are not drugs. People are not a pill.
Mm-mm.
People,
People are not things.
Yeah, dis-ease is just that. It's dis-ease, and only you can ease yourself. Yes, a baby can be soothed by their parent, but at a certain point, their parent can no longer soothe them. They get to learn what it is they need to satisfy their desires. And I understand the need for a little D on a Friday. I just had to. I was like, it's freaking Friday, and I barely worked a pun.
Ain't nothing wrong with little Bubba Grant. No, okay, I'm sorry. It's the wrong show. I'm sorry.
I don't see nothing wrong. Sandbox.
You two are going to get sand in places you don't need sand. And then you're going to get a blister.
I heard I'll make a pearl.
Alrighty, you want some more Jedi mind tricks there for you to help you with your daily life? Go to pineapplefishlifecoaching.com with our own Kathy D. Is there any specials, anything you plug in, anything you feel instinctively we need that they need to get the services from you right now, Kathy D? This is your time to say it.
Really no. Well, actually, yeah, I'm still doing the my standard rate of 111 for it's an hour and a half of hypnotherapy. It's intuitive hypnotherapy. I talk to you first. You don't get charged for that part. I kind of find out what's going on, and then when we go into the hypnotic trance, I just kind of let source guide me on what needs to be said and where we need to go with that. And so it's not you see it on a lot of people talk about, oh, it's a script, it's just no. I mean, yeah, there's basically a script, there are words we're looking for, but this is really intuitive, set to you. So you can come and have a hypnotherapy session, and somebody else can come and have a hypnotherapy session, and you'll have two totally different situations going on. So that's still going on for right now.
Yeah, she's good. She's real good.
So helpful. Super helpful.
Thank you. I
haven't fully checked it out, but I would like to get. Do you have packages where we can come for a series of them?
Oh.
Great, because that's what I want. I like that.
Yeah, and a lot of it depends on what you need. It's hard to make a package because everybody's different. And so everything is really tailor-made to the person, if
there's got to be a joke in there. It's hard to make a package. Come on, April. Come on.
Some people need like one session and a follow-up or just a check-in, and there are other people that have deeper things to deal with, or we find things out while we're in a hypnotherapy session. So and then we just kind of go from there.
Sounds like a plan. And we
It's like,
also,
oh, hi. I was just gonna keep promoting her because she's so good.
she is good.
Like,
She
Thank you.
so,
is.
so,
She is.
like, it took us years to get where we are.
Hmm.
You're not gonna change all that in an hour, especially how the brain is wired and how the
It's not.
electrics,
You're not.
in the brain. So go multiple. Just set yourself up for success. Check her out. Check me out. Check Divine Unisouls out. We've got
Mm-hmm.
a lot to offer you.
A
Okay, go ahead.
lot. A lot.
Come to my
But
website.
I'm being compassionate to myself. Okay, made for this goldenlife.com. Get our own for our Golden Lifestyles Unlimited, our own April Williams. What do you have that's going on for you with your fabulous, beautiful self? What do you have for us? Do you have any
Well,
specials? Anything
I've
that you
got
want
some.
to
I
know?
got some nice meditations I put up there. Um,
Okay.
by this weekend, I will have the womb healing up, so that's going to be available for a really low price. What's the special? Let's make it. I'll do it for 72 hours starting. Let me write this down before I just start fluffing it.
Write it down.
can
Write it
I write with
down.
fire? That was literally okay.
Write it down.
So I'll have it up within 24 hours. I'll do it for what? What's an unreasonably low price? 333. I'll
Sounds
do it.
good.
I'll do it for 333
That's my
for
number.
33 hours and 33 minutes after I put it up,
All
and I
right.
will have it up by 8 a.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. You get it before then? Great. But I'll do it for 33 just because that's funny. Because
Okay.
the universe, how the universe be talking to you, right? I am so just like, okay, it's number sequences all day. Now they're starting to do letter combinations. It's not word,
Hmm.
letter combinations. I'm just like,
Okay.
Oh, and then the letter combinations, though, in your mind make a word.
oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
So yeah, that's license plates in me anymore.
Yes. I
What's
see
the
what the
funny
other
one is
day.
like the TV echo, right? So you say a word and then it's on the program or something that's on the background of the TV show, like the second after. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. Quite often on that. All right, Divine Unisource 11.co. You can come to me. I think right now what I'm being kind of pushed to is the transformational special that I have here, where it helps you to understand what areas that you need transforming with. I do a Zoom call with that too as well. So that's something that I think that we really need a push for. I'll see about if I'm going to run a special on that and how much that would be. So let me kind of confer with Spirit with me. As far I'm hitting 44, but that would be great too. To see, because it takes a lot for me when I do it. I talk to Spirit first, and then I do the Zoom call, and we go back over it with you again, and then I give you a free follow up. I follow up with you in 30 days to see has the stuff that the guided activities that Spirit has given you. Have you followed through with it? How has it transformed you? And then pretty much everybody's come back with a report to say this has shifted, this has changed because I did X, Y, and Z. So that's a very good package, especially now with this healing, to know about what areas you need to transform and then what physical things to help you to shift the energies in the physical, to tap in with the spiritual, to let them know, yes, I'm serious and I'm committed about making this change. So that would be another thing. So I'll put that up. I'll change that to 44. That's going to be really limited for that. So this October the 16th. So we'll run this all the way into the Day of the Dead. So that'll be November the 2nd. I'll stop that for $44. Okay. For that. And that's an hour session that I do, but it's really an hour because I do a half an hour with Spirit and a half an hour with you, and then we do a free conference call, which usually runs a half an hour. So that's really cheap for $44. For you to have that, as always. And then you can also get our playground experience as well. If you want that, come check it out at divineunisource11.co. And then you can also check out the past if you're interested in that. Also, when you're looking at the past, it also tells you about what's happening with the present because it's all affected as well. So it's not always about hanging out in the past. It's also talking about how you can change what's going on now and how you can re-script it too. Also, we have if you like what we're doing, please make sure that you like, you share, and you subscribe to this channel about to know about what great things that we're doing, especially for the playground experience as well. So make sure that you do that. You smash that bell to hit that notification to hear about what other great things we're doing on the playground experience. All right, then.
Yay!
Let's get us on out of here. Let's start with Kathy D.
Well, remember, get your buckets and empty all the sand out of your shoes and your ears and anywhere else anybody seemed to have thrown sand at you. Pick up all your virtual juice boxes. I want to say good night and I love you to my beautiful big sister Tammy, who's finally figured out the chat tonight. Mwah. I
We
love you and wishing you your best life ever. See you real soon.
All right, then. And April Williams.
So stay blessed, stay golden, and remember, you were made for this golden life.
Yes. And as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascending. Namaste, namago. All right. Until next time, see you till next Friday. And say your step. Bye.